Here it is, ladies and gentlemen, a Hoover Sonix powerful cyclonic cleaning pets. And it is 2,300 watts. I purchased this. Let me see, what month are we on? What year are we on? It's May. Is it? Yes. We're in May 2015 when I bought this from a company called very.co.uk. It was reduced from some ridiculously inflated price in the hundreds to 40 something. I got an additional discount. I got this for £41. So for £41 I thought I'll give it a go. £41 isn't going to break the bank, is it? Anyway, here it is. It's got a washable HEPA filter. It has powerful cyclonic cleaning. It's got variable power control, 2-in-1 dusting brush and crevice tool, PETS turbo tool, telescopic tubes for above floor cleaning. The model number, it's a long one, it's TSXP 2308001, made in PRC, and the colour inside this pack is illuminated / grace purple transparent, and the gross weight is 7.8 kilograms. Handle with care. I always do. I always handle my vacuums with extreme care. Everything I own I look after. Okay, with my trusty scissors I'm going to break the seal of this vacuum cleaner and we'll have a look at what we get inside. First thing is a phone number here. In case you miss it on this side, Hoover printed it on this side. Don't take it back to the shop if it's a load of rubbish. That's basically what this is saying. They're saying, call us, we'll do everything we can to help. I've never had to call Hoover's helpline, but I don't suppose they're very good, but you know, they might be excellent. They might be. Okay, let's have a look. There. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it, for you? Eh? Can you contain your excitement? I know I can't. You know, there was a time when I was excited to open a vacuum cleaner when I didn't buy a lot of them, you know, and when buying a new vacuum cleaner for me was a treat, but now it's just a regular occurrence. So the more you do something, the more boring it becomes. Oh dear. That doesn't say much for my channel. It's full of vacuum cleaner videos. Ooh, knocking on for 400 now, I expect. You must be bored to tears. But anyway, I'm going to soldier on whether you like it or not, because I like it. There we go, that's the instruction book. The Hoover guarantee, European guarantee, 1 year. That's all you get with a Hoover. Sonic Power. Now this machine's available in several different names. I've seen it, I think it was called Discovery. Oh, it might have been under Whirlwind as well. There's lots. I should have looked up the number of names this machine's been available under, but it seems to be quite common for Hoover to keep renaming their vacuum cleaners. Rather than bring you a new model, they just rename an old one and say it's new. Although they used to do that in the old days. They used to upgrade their vacuum cleaners with hardly any changes, just maybe slight cosmetic changes and a new colour scheme, and call them a completely new range. But like the sucker, I fell for it and had to buy the new ones. Anyway, there's the instruction book. Here is, oh, we'll get this out first. Metal extension tube. Is it going to be a shorty or a long one? No, looks fairly short, probably as short as the tube on the Hoover Spritz. The Hoover Spritz cleaner. Yes, not very good vacuum that. Possibly this machine will be a bit better than the Spritz. It's still a single cyclonic vacuum with the pleated filter inside the dirt bin, so I'm not holding out much hope for the filtration abilities of this vacuum. But anyway, there's your telescopic metal extension tube. Here is the hose, which looks very, very short. I would say, oh, that's a short hose. I haven't got a tape measure to hand, but that's certainly, well, I think the maximum that'll be is 1.5 meters. I think 1.8 is a nice length. 2 is even better, 2 meters. I can't tell you what that is in old money, I'm afraid. Although I'm quite old myself. I was brought up more or less on the metric system. We did a bit of both, imperial and metric. There's your handle with, of course, the slide suction control. This does have an electronic motor speed control as well, so you can adjust the suction at the cleaner, but that just reduces the suction by allowing air into the hose. Oh, and look, there's a little button here, which I assume means you can take, yes, that's good, you can take that away in case that gets blocked. So that helps you to clear a blockage, should you ever block your vacuum cleaner. But if you ever block your vacuum cleaner, you've picked something up you shouldn't have. And on this side, rather reminiscent of some Electrolux cleaners, although it looks a bit tatty, there is a rubber seal on the end of the hose that goes into the machine, so that'll help seal the suction in. Now I'm glad to see, well obviously this predates the Hoover low energy models that come with the awful, and Hoover, you need to sort those nozzles out because they are atrocious. This isn't much better. Now the nozzle I got with the Hoover Eco G Telios was pretty good. But this one, oh dear. Plastic. I hate to see a plastic base plate. Oh, and it gets worse, folks. Those so-called litter pickers aren't even litter pickers. It's just some red-coloured textured plastic, so they'll have no effect on dog hair. Foot operated. Switch. Oh, that's quite stiff. So we've got some brushes coming down at the front and a squeegee at the back for your hard floors. Naturally I'll be testing this nozzle on my bag of filth, on my carpet and my hard floor. But no, it's pretty poor nozzle. I expect to find this nozzle in a 40 to 50 pound vacuum cleaner, but not a vacuum cleaner that, I think this was listed at over 200 originally. Who would spend over 200 on a cheap Hoover vacuum? Well, a cheaply made Hoover vacuum, when you could buy a Milo or a Sebo for that sort of price. But there you have it, 2 wheels, standard parking bracket, push fit, friction fit. So that's that. There should be there's another tool in here somewhere, hopefully. Oh well, yes, of course, the turbo tool. But where's the other? Don't say there's a tool missing. Oh, it's here. I'll show you the... This is another... Oh, this is terrible. Oh no. Gets worse. You see, a mediocre vacuum can be improved with decent cleaning tools. But when you've got, I'm assuming, a mediocre vacuum and poor cleaning tools, it doesn't get much better. So there is your very short and stumpy little crevice tool with the built-in dusting brush. Terrible nozzle. Look at that. I would not trust my delicates to that brush. I mean, it's that small you could almost brush your teeth with it. Well, that's something. Somebody should invent that, shouldn't they? A vacuum cleaner toothbrush. Brushes your teeth and then sucks all the debris away for easy disposal. But anyway, there we are. And I don't think any of the tools, well, that is the tool. Basically, that and the turbo nozzle that I'm about to show you, they're the above floor tools. Pretty poor. Oh dearie me. You never know, in years to come this might be considered a classic among vacuum cleaner collectors. You never know. Here we are, pretty standard Hoover pet hair remover. Hoover don't supply a full-sized turbo nozzle. If you've got pets and carpet, you want a full-sized turbo nozzle, not just a small one. This is alright for doing your sofas. Okay for your pet bedding, okay for your stairs, maybe inside your car, but for doing your wall-to-wall carpeting it's far too narrow. But there we go, I've seen that style on many Hoover cleaners. You can open it so you can do a bit of maintenance. There's the fan, the turbine that powers the brush. Naturally I'll be testing all of this out in my full review to follow. And I think that is everything. Now we can remove this purple and silver vacuum. Very, what's the word? Millennium. They were the colours. If you're old enough or young enough to remember the Millennium, The colour theme of the millennium seemed to be purple and silver. I know that year our Christmas tree, we got new purple and silver baubles for it. It's a fairly weighty, I mean it's not overly heavy, but it's fairly weighty. Certainly heavier of course than the little Hoover Spritz. So here we go. Emblazoned on the side, 2,300 watts. Ridiculous amount of wattage. You know, that's enough to heat your home, isn't it? A fan heater. I'm sure the new one's probably about 800, 700 watts, but it's cyclonic power. Let's have a feel of the wheels. Well, they have a sort of a rubbery coating. They're not just plastic. Needs a bit of a wipe. But they do have some sort of a tyre on them. Either side. What's underneath? Swivel caster at the front. Here is the rating plate. Let's try and get that so you can see it. Peruse that. I can't see that, it's upside down to me. I'll have a look at it now. Have you seen it? There we go. It says, oh, there's a little bit of a mark on the side, look. That will buff out with a bit of polish. I told you the model number, serial number, 220 to 240 volts, 50 hertz. PCEE 1900 watts, P Max 2300 watts, Hoover Limited, Merthyr, UK, blah blah, made in PRC. Here's the back of the cleaner. Got your little helpline number. Why they can't put that in somewhere under the bin would be nice. It just makes this cleaner look ugly. Not that it's, well, it's not bad looking, I suppose. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? Here we have the flex, the plug, take that off, protector. There you go. Do 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 do, what a lovely plug we have. There we are, plug. Wow, isn't that exciting for you? It's quite a bulky plug, the UK plug, but it's probably the best and safest design in the world. I'm sure I'll get a lot of Americans and Australians and other nationalities saying, no, our plug system is best, but no. I believe the UK system with the fuse, there's a fuse in there, that black portion in the middle. Insulated neutral and live pins. And it's a proper flex this, it's not one of those thin cables, it is a proper, but then again at 2,300 watts you'd need a decent thickness of cable. Let's just pull it out. I think it's only about 5 meters, so not adequate, really. Already we're showing the little yellow sticker. Yellow, beware, or be ready. There's that amber. And then, oh, there's the red one. So you're not to pull it much beyond the red. When I see red, I go like that, just to make sure. At the back, standard parking bracket for your main floor nozzle. So you can park the machine. And has it got any sort of storage on the back? No, there's no sort of bracket on the back for storing. Does it stand on its end? Yes, it does actually. It does stand on its end, sort of. A little bit wobbly. I hope it's not like a Weeble. Well, I do hope it's like a Weeble. Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. I think that would probably fall down if it was given a hard enough tug. Here we have the opening where the hose goes. We haven't finished the back yet, have we? So we've got your foot operated on-off switch here, foot operated automatic cord rewind, and here something you don't see on, I've not seen on any Dyson vacuum, and it doesn't seem to be very current on a lot of vacuums, but it's a useful feature to have, an electronic suction control. It's quite common on bagged machines, bagged cylinders, not very common on uprights for some reason. But anyway, there's a little minimum, maximum slide control. Doesn't move very much. Quite an unusual place to have it. But that's the carry handle, and it's a quite a comfortable handle. Now, also, before we go onto the bin, take the grill off. Yes, I saw this. There is Hoover have got a service YouTube channel. There's a chap on there doing some basic servicing of various Hoover vacuum cleaners. This machine features. So I do know that this is just a sponge filter. I've seen the video. It's not a pleated HEPA. Just a black sponge. Yeah, nothing to see there really, is there? It's all sealed away. Not sure how noisy this machine is. At 2,300 watts, I'm not thinking it's going to be a very quiet vacuum. I'm thinking it's possibly going to be quite a noisy vacuum cleaner. Now, how do you put this on? I think you have to locate the lugs first. That's it, and push it down. Then the grill holds it in place. There we go. Is that on? This silver just look, it makes it look even cheaper, I think. Here is the bin. Hoover Sonix Power Pets, maximum fill line there. It's quite, it's not transparent, it's translucent, so it's quite hard to see the dirt in there. So you do need to keep that regularly checked. I would probably say after each time you've used it, I would probably empty this. There's a little release catch on the top to remove the bin. Before we look at the bin, let's look inside. Warning, warning, warning! What does that say? Clean filters regularly. Dirty filters affect performance, cause air blockage and motor failure. Failure to clean the filters may affect your Hoover guarantee. Your Hoover guarantee of just 1 year. I mean, that's just 52 uses. If you just vacuum once a week, as many people do, some people don't even vacuum once a week, you know. But if you were to vacuum once a week, that's just 52 uses it's guaranteed for, basically. There's a little, very coarse black filter there. Obviously the motor's there, that's where the suction comes from. Okay, let's have a look at the bin. Got some more maintenance tips, because who actually looks, I do, but most people don't look at their instruction book, do they? But there's no excuse, because all the instructions for maintaining this vacuum are on the bin, but positioned discreetly on the bin, so they're not always on show. They're only on show when you remove the bin. Oh, I don't know if that's supposed to be some sort of a handle. I suppose you could carry it from that. So here's the bin empty catch. Let's see, will it open the first time? What do you think? Often they don't. Ooh! It did. Was that a fluke? I don't think so. Wow. There we go. Some sort of a seal around here. So, looks like... Now this has bamboozled me on a vacuum I had a while back, a Hoover Alex cylinder. The dirt actually enters... Or does it? Yes, it does. The dirt enters from the bottom. This is where the dirt comes up. So it must go through there. But then how does it get into the bin? Well, I never worked it out on the last vacuum. Perhaps I'll work it out this time. We've got filter access here at the top. You just turn it. We've got lock and open, so we just need to turn the top to open. Oh, not easier said than done. Let me just close the bin. There we go. So there's the bin. Oh, I could almost put that on my head actually. Oh, it's a shame you can't see it on my head. Can I get down without it falling off? I look a bit of a fool, but then again, I always look a fool. Oh, you can't see it either. Suck me belly in, suck me belly in. I've lost a lot of weight. I'll be looking at some of my older videos. I can't do it even now. Oh, there we go. Hello. Oh dear, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm a bit doolally, as they used to say. Doolally tap. I don't know where that expression comes from. Or tapped. I've often been described as tapped, but anyway, that's the bin. Here is the a familiar sight for any of you who've got a cheap bagless vacuum, a HEPA, and I use the word loosely, HEPA filter with a mesh shroud. The mesh shroud helps to keep some of the dirt off, not the fine dust, but it keeps hairs and things off. And we need to open this somehow. Do we turn it on? So that's easy enough to clean. Quick rinse, leave it to dry. That doesn't take long to dry. These take longer to dry, these pleated HEPA filters. Twist and remove. Can buy spares of these, of course. I would recommend, not at this price point, but if you were buying a more expensive vacuum that has washable filters, it's always a good idea, especially if you use your vacuum a lot, it's always a good idea to buy a spare, so you know that when you're washing and you're waiting for the one to dry, you have a spare one that you can pop in, so you're never without your vacuum. What would that be like, folks? Not being able to vacuum for 24 hours, how would you cope? A lot of you would think, oh, that's great. Ooh, 24 hours without getting Hoover out, bliss. But for me and some other folks, I do sometimes go more than 24 hours without vacuuming, but that's my choice. I don't want to be forced into it by the filter being wet. So anyway, there's the pleated HEPA filter. Oh, hello. Hello. Oh. How does the dirt get into the bin? I still really don't know this. Oh, it must. I think it, you know, because the dirt comes up through here. Okay, and there's a filter on here. I think the dirt must spin out and come out of a groove here somewhere above the filter, because the filter, there's a hole there. You know, it's open here, look, but the filter's on that, so that blocks that off. So it must come up the middle and sort of come out of here somehow. Anyway, I'll be looking into that in more detail. Let's pop this back. Line up the arrows. Deary me. Oh, there we go. That's it. Pop the shroud back, if that's what they call it. So when you're looking for a bagless vacuum, at the lower price point, this is what you'll find. Normally, you'll find Daisy. She's not appearing in the video, but I think you might have heard her. You normally find that the pleated filter is actually situated inside the bin. But sometimes they're a bit crafty, some manufacturers, and they hide it behind a shroud, so it makes it look like a multi-cyclonic cleaner. I would always, if you can afford it and you want bagless, go for multi-cyclonic. Okay, I'll just pop this back together and we'll switch this machine on. Okay, so there we go. And it looks very odd. This is I don't know why, but purple things, whenever I've reviewed a vacuum that's got purple, it always looks blue in my viewfinder. I'm not sure what I think it turns out purple when it's actually uploaded. But there we go. Anyway, Daisy and Molly have gone out for little walkies, so I've got a few minutes, 15 minutes to finish off without getting disturbed. Let's connect the hose. That's a nice, secure fitting hose anyway. I do like the little rubber seal. It is very like my Electrolux, is it 2020 cylinder vacuum, that 80s vac. I think it was 80s or 90s vac, I'm not sure. A lot of Electrolux cleaners had this sort of seal on, so hopefully it'll seal in all the power. Need to go and plug this in as well, which I have a socket nearby. I hope it's not going to turn on. Phew. I'll make sure it's on minimum. Okie dokie, let's judge the suction power of this Hoover Sonix. Starting off on low speed, and then we'll work our way up a bit. Let's see how noisy it's going to be. Well, to my ears that isn't bad, but it is ridiculous. Now, I think, don't quote me, but I think I read that the suction power on this vacuum was rated at 220 air watts, 220 or 230 air watts, produced by a motor consuming 2,300 watts. Now that's not very efficient, because the first time I read about air watts was way back in the 80s, and the first brochure I saw air watts quoted was the 1982, or was it 83? 82 I believe I've got. A 1982 brochure for the Hoover Sensortronic range. And it was the first generation Sensortronics. Now they all had 1000 watt motors. Systems 2 to 5 had 1000 watt motors, but system 1 had a 900 watt motor. But I do remember seeing that the air wattage quoted for a 1000 watt motor was 250 air watts. So you'd think a machine consuming more than double would be at least 500 air watts, wouldn't you? But no, doesn't work like that. So how in the 80s they could produce a machine that gave 250 air watts, and that was powerful for the 80s. 250 air watts was pretty top notch. Nowadays you can get up to 450, knocking on for 500 air watts, some cleaners quote, but that was before the low wattage came into effect, and that was for bagged vacuums. On the whole, they tended to have more suction, initially at least. Here's the floor nozzle attached. If I extend it fully and stand up, let's just see. I think this what's that called? Handle? I think that handle is probably a bit longer than on the spritz, but it's still, you know, it's pretty low. If you were very tall using this, you'd have to stoop down. You'd be stooped. So it's too short for me. Let's just straighten that up. There we go. So there's your nozzle. Let me show you the turbo nozzle before I go. This, of course, will increase the noise level to probably an unbearable degree. I'll start it directly on maximum. It does have a soft start. It is on maximum. It has a soft start feature, so even if it's on max, it should start off slow and ramp up. Oh, ear-piercingly loud, these turbo nozzles. Very, very unpleasant sounding. Let's just run it over the floor a bit. Oh dear. Again, switch on. I think some reviewers complained that that stopped working after a few uses. They're not the best made. I think if I was to drop that down the stairs, I'm not sure it would survive the fall. You know, it always amazes me that, you know, a manufacturer isn't so bothered. Some manufacturers aren't bothered about making a quality product. Obviously, they make products nowadays, on the whole, are disposable. They're made to be used and got rid of. It's not a good thing, of course, but that's the way of the world. But you'd think for a manufacturer with an old name, a famous name like Hoover, would at least want to try and preserve some reputation by producing something that's of decent quality. And unfortunately, the Hoover machines, on the whole, not all of them, but on the whole, they tend to be pretty poor. I suspect, though, that this isn't even an original Hoover design. I wouldn't be surprised if I was to do a bit of searching on the internet. I wouldn't be surprised if I found that under a different brand name. Made in the same factory, but just branded something differently. I've seen that on German websites. Hoover vacuum cleaners branded something else. So I don't think this is a genuine sort of an original Hoover design. You know, I've used a lot of vacuums, I've experienced a lot of vacuums, so I can judge what I feel is a quality made vacuum and what isn't. And although this is probably okay for most people who don't really, you know, maybe you don't have the money to buy something that's, you know, in the £200, £300 price bracket. So a lot of people won't know that there are a lot of vacuum cleaners out there that are better built, and they might be happy. Some people might be more than happy with this. I wouldn't be. But then I'm not your average consumer, I'm an excessive consumer. But I have quite a wide experience of vacuums and, well, anyway. It's still a vacuum. Let's have a quick go. I can see if it grips the carpet at least. Doesn't even seem to grip the carpet at all, so I've not thrown down my bag of filth yet. I've not done any testing, but I don't think it's going to do very well. Call it intuition, but at least the nozzle, I haven't done the test. I've probably uploaded it. I will have uploaded it by the time you see this. The Hoover Eco G Telios, which is a bagged cleaner which has a metal base sole plate. When I initially used that on the unboxing video, I could actually see it sort of gripping the carpet. It wasn't difficult to push, but you could see that there was some suction there, and it was creating a partial seal, and it was lifting the carpet up. As I moved the nozzle back and forth, you could see the carpet being lifted up, allowing the air to flow through. There was none of that with this particular nozzle. Certainly the bagged Telios vacuum that I will be showing you, or have shown you, has more suction power than this. I remember judging it, but anyway, there you go. That's the initial unboxing and first look at the Hoover Sonix Bagless. Obviously this machine, getting all tangled up, it's all... there we go. Obviously this machine, being a high wattage vacuum, it's not going to be around for much longer in this form. I've seen it, I think I've seen it also in, with so many different names. I think I've seen it in the Discovery or Hurricane name. This basic machine, but they do a new version with a lower wattage motor, but it'll probably have those awful Hoover low wattage cleaning heads, which to me are next to useless. To be honest, I don't know how Hoover signed those off and thought they'd be good to use on their vacuums. So, initial thoughts on this vacuum. It looks okay. It's not too noisy. It's reasonably robust, you know, but a SIBO it ain't. A SIBO it certainly isn't, but it's not at SIBO price point. 1 year guarantee as opposed to SIBO's 5-year guarantee. So obviously SIBO have quite a bit of faith in their products. I know of people who've got SIBOs nearly 20 years old, still going strong, still their daily vacuum. But this is not a SIBO video, this is a Hoover video. But it's nice to sort of compare things. But there's so many vacuums in the market, hundreds of different machines. Where do you start? So hopefully my channel will give you some ideas, some tips on what to look for when choosing a vacuum for your home. If you've liked this video, please subscribe and you'll be updated every time I upload a new floor care video. And don't forget, this will be demonstrated in a few weeks' time, along with many more vacuum cleaners, the odd carpet washer, possibly the odd steam cleaner will be on my channel as well. So until then, thanks for watching, and I'll see you very soon.